It's 4 o'clock on a Monday, and you know what that means. It's time for another exciting episode of Taxi TV Live. And this week, I'm not going to forget to hold up the subscribe sign, or the like sign. Wrong way. I'm such an idiot. Thank you, fake band. Thank you, fake audience. I hit the red button. I hope we're working. I hope it's on. Is it good?
You're good.
Yeah, so subscribe and like. They're in the right order. Still a little dingy from the road rally, I've got to admit. Let me say hi to the folks in the chat room. There you guys are. Hi, guys. Nice tie. Thanks, Ray Hill. So here we are. A week and a day after Road Rally 2017 ended, and I always say it takes me until about Thanksgiving before my brain is fully functional. It's the 3 months leading up to the Road Rally are what do me in. It's not the rally itself. During the rally, I'm usually calm, other than when projectors don't work for movies, but generally calm. Not this year. Yeah, that movie thing, we were playing a movie. If you guys haven't seen it yet, go see Bang, the Burt Burns story. Anybody who's in the music business, it's required watching. You can get it on Apple iTunes exclusively. It's not in theaters right now. They had it in theaters for screenings, and I'm sure it'll come back in wide release at some point. But you can get it online on iTunes and Apple Music right now. It's so good. It's all about a gentleman named Burt Burns that had 51 hit singles and in a 7-year period, and nobody knows who he is. Really quite amazing. So, hello guys in the room, and now I know I see Anna Yarbrough down there, and I kept saying a lady that looked kind of familiar about 5 rows back from the front. Has she been to a road rally before? I know this face. It was Anna from the forums. Oh, before I go any further, I also want to mention we're going to be listening to instrumentals today entirely. And these are instrumentals that were submitted. Remember, I ran a couple listings, one for instrumentals and one for songs with vocals, lyrics and vocals, prior to the road rally, because sometimes during listening panels at the road rally we hit a lull, kind of like 3 or 4 things that aren't quite ready for prime time yet. In the past, I've had members walk up to me and go, gosh, that was so embarrassing. I don't want those music supervisors leaving the rally thinking that's kind of par for the course. So I ran listings to have backup material, and obviously I was very forthright about it. Wasn't trying to do anything that people didn't know about. And let me see my levels so I can see. There we go. I didn't have to play very many of them, and I felt bad because a lot of people submitted, and there's quite a bit of stuff that was forwarded, and we had it ready to go, and we ended up not needing very much of it. I think I only played 2 or 3 things maybe all weekend, which is a testament to how strong the music was from our members. And I've heard that from several of my music supervisor or library owner type friends that have responded after the road rally to my emails or thank you calls and said, wow, the music was really good. So today we're going to listen to this stuff. And because it is all instrumental and it's production music oriented, I want to plug a book that I haven't read yet, which is odd for me. I don't usually plug things that I'm not that I haven't read or listened to or whatever. But I know this gentleman, he's been on the show before, and I thumbed through the book one night trying to fall asleep during the rally, and it looked incredibly good. So without having read the book, I'm going to recommend Writing Production Music for TV by Steve Barden. You can get it on Amazon, and hey, look, there I am without a shadow on my face. Steve is a consummate pro, and I've watched him kind of mature, grow up in the industry over many years, and I'm absolutely certain that this book is really good. It's well written, I know from the stuff that I've looked at. I just haven't read it cover to cover. So there you go, Writing Production Music for TV by Steve Barden, The Road to Success. And what do you take while you're on the road to success? Why, a taxi, of course. Yes, I can be corny, and I enjoy that about me. So without any further ado, what we're going to do is we're going to play the stuff. I'm not going to bounce around. Sometimes there are some people that have like 4 or 5 pieces that were forwarded, and they're all grouped together because that's how they would be grouped together if we were forwarding it to a library or a music supervisor. So you will hear stuff. There's a gentleman named Minoru Amino that I actually met this year at the rally. He's been to many of them. He's got 4 or 5 in a row. Martin Tichy, who I think I played his piece certainly at the rally, if not on the show before. So sometimes it may seem like I'm doing playing favorites. I'm not. This is just how they came out on the file that we're going to play from. So how you looking over there, Bria? Ready to go?
Ready.
All imported. You want to give me a quick level check?
Yeah, sure.
All right, back to the top, please. All right, so we're good to go. And we are going to lead off. This is called Jazzy Cocktails by Bill Gordon. You know, the guy who stands at the front of the line and says, holds up, where the heck did they go? He holds up a thing like this and says, go over there, go to that person, go to that person. That's Bill Gordon. And this is my way of saying subscribe to our channel. Here we go. Modulation. I did. Well, it's 3.5. How far in are we?
We're halfway.
I'm going to fade some of these that are longish, like this one. Actually, let's just skip to the next Bill one. Okay, so that's Jazzy Cocktails. This one's called Little Romance by Bill Gordon. Notice how they both accomplish something different. They can both be for a different scene. And hit it. little story without getting in the way of the story. Sorry to fade you, Bill, but we got a lot to get through today. But yes, for those of you who said sounds like real instruments, absolutely. Bill Gordon wouldn't do anything but real instruments. First-rate playing on his part, and just everything he does has a lot of class. So good job on that, Bill. All right, next up, we're going to listen to something called Stroll in Southside, and this is by Tom Martin. Yeah, some of this stuff just by coincidence got played because it got pulled out of the box during panels. I was a little surprised, but it had nothing to do with the selections. It's all random. All about the mood, right? Good title too, Stroll in Southside. Good job, Tom Martin. All right, so just so you remember, this stuff was all submitted for that listing to be used as fill-in stuff in case of emergency, break the glass at the road rally, and most of it didn't get used, but it did make it through the screeners for that purpose. It was not for a particular listing or a particular scene. It was just anything good that could be break the glass. We need to play something in emergency because things got a little less than wonderful in the ballroom. Okay, this next one is called What the What by James Smith. Let's have a listen. how it drops back down. Easy to edit. Builds back up. Home stretch. I didn't even look at a timeline, and I knew that was the home stretch because it was so well composed. Excellent job. So that was James Smith doing What the What. Next one up is called Famine by Randon Purcell. Yo, Randon. I actually met him at the road rally. Hi, buddy. Back in the nick of time. All right, that was Randon Purcell. Somebody said, "Who is that?" So I went to get my whiteboard and write it out. Almost blew the end of the song there. All right. Okay. Next up, we've got, I'm going to call it a suite of stuff from, I hope I'm pronouncing this gentleman's name correctly, but I believe he lives in Japan, so he might be sleeping right now, so he won't know if I mess it up or not. Minoru Amino. And this first one's actually 3 minutes and 7 seconds long, so let's just play like a minute and a half of it, because if I remember correctly, it's also a tension cue kind of thing, and after about a minute, you want to go find a weapon and split somebody's skull in half, so I don't want anybody to do that. By the way, Randon, that was really, really good. Okay, so this is called Revokeer, and this is by Minoru Amino. That's my French-Japanese accent. Oh, different one I was thinking of. beat the halfway point. All right, let's skip to the next one. Then we get the round of applause. Great job, Minoru. Now we're going on to a 1:36 long cue from the same gentleman called Sneaking Up. Gee, I wonder what that might sound like. Already a perfect title, right? All right, same gentleman. This one, next one is called Silent Noise. And this is also Minoru Amino. Or Amino, I'm not sure if he's an acid or it's the last name. It's really silent.
Oh, sorry.
People often ask, why would you just stay on an A section? It gets so boring. The chances of anybody using the entire piece, not that great. You're not scoring a movie, you're supplying music for a scene. Great job. All right. One more. This one is called Inducer. This is also Minoru Amino. Let's have a listen. I think this might have gotten played at the rally. like it could be in a Jack Lemmon movie, doesn't it? Okay, let's pause for a second because I want to talk about his craft, and I underline the word craft. Notice how these pieces were written staying basically on one, what's the word I'm looking for, one motif from top to bottom, beginning to end. Maybe they had a B section in them, but it's one mood throughout. You could easily imagine what kind of scenes it could be used for. So everything we talk about all the time, this gentleman clearly gets. So for those of you who aren't regulars and are watching the show for the first time today or watching the archives, this is what we're talking about when we talk about instrumental cues. It's not trying to score the entire movie. It's delivering one mood, one scene, one piece of music that an editor or a music supervisor could slug into something and it makes sense. When I heard this today, when I heard it late at night before the rally as I was listening to this stuff, prepping for the rally, I remember thinking, really good for, like Tony Curtis, Jack Lemmon, somebody in a 1965 T-Bird, the woman's got a scarf on her head and they're driving on PCH, or maybe they're walking through Midtown Manhattan. It just had a vibe that was so apparent to me. All right, next up we have something from Robbie Hancock, who I believe is in the audience today. This is called Bated Breath. Let's have a listen. Robbie. Well, take a bow, Robbie.
I was playing 10.
Oh, shoot. Then somehow our number's off, because number 10 was Inducer by Minoru.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I...
All right, so that should have been Bated Breath, which is number 11 by Robbie.
Okay, yeah, I played 10. I haven't listened to that yet.
Interesting. Okay, so sorry about that, Minoru and Robbie, but I think that was, you know what, that's the one that I remember thinking it just stayed on one thing for so long that we'd have to fade early. Okay, so now we're going to hear Bated Breath by Robbie. And yes, the sushi jokes and fishing jokes will abound, I'm sure. I know you guys will. I already saw Peter Rahill cracking one. I thought of it but didn't say it because I was trying to, look like I had a little class, but easily fooled. Okay, so this is number 11. This is Bated Breath by Robbie Hancock. Here we go. It's funny, I saw somebody, great job, Robbie, and Robbie was being the swell guy that he is and giving credit to his collaborator on this, who's Andy Gabrish. Also a great composer. But I saw somebody mention, they said, developing a little slow, Sojournix. Said, developing a little slow. This is the kind of piece where it doesn't really develop at all. Because again, you're not trying to write the scene and what's going. You're not writing the action or the screenplay with the music. The music fills a purpose in a scene. So imagine a show like Mr. Robot, for instance. Somebody's hacking or searching for some clue because they've been hacked, or it's a CIA movie or a spy movie and somebody's in a hotel room in another city very late at night, and the camera shot is them sitting at the desk in the hotel room with the lights of the city out in the background, and they're searching for something online. This would be perfect for that. So that said, we're moving on to yet another one, which I have a feeling is going to be very different. This is also by Robbie Hancock. This one's called Pickin' Chickens. And you know why you pick chickens? Because ducks aren't all they're quacked up to be. Bada boom, bada bing. Edit point. I'd say that's a pretty perfectly executed example of a acoustic, what do they call it? I can't think of the genre. People clog to it. Smoky Mountains, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, Duck Dynasty, you could certainly use that on Duck Dynasty. All kinds of shows like that. Really, really, really well done. Okay, that was Pickin' Chickens by Robbie Hancock, and that was Shane Green playing toothless banjo on that. Nice job, you guys. Moving on to this one's called Silicon by Mauricio Soria. Let's have a listen. See how it just grew a little bit, staying on the same motif throughout, but it got a little bigger, got a little zip. Great edit point. Strip down. Bring it back up. Great job. Again, you guys are so nailing the whole instrumental thing, generally speaking, and the cue thing specifically. I could not be more proud of you, ladies and gentlemen. I think there are some, by the way, there are some ladies in here. Yes. Okay, now, this next one, this is called Moptop Rock, and this is by David Horsley. job on that. Moptop Rock by David Horsley. All right. Yeah, somebody said, all this stuff's really good. Well, yeah, it was all forwarded. I mean, this stuff was good enough that we're going to use it as a backup in the ballroom if we needed to play examples of this is how it's done well. So, yeah, it's all done. And, yes, that was reminiscent of the Kinks, but in a good way, right? Made it feel familiar, but didn't sound like it ripped them off. Certainly didn't rip off a particular song, although it sounded slightly like one, but not enough to get anybody in trouble. Okay, next one is called Lucky Punch, and this is by Thomas Pat. All right, that was called Lucky Punch by Thomas Pat. And now we're going to hear one more from him. But before we do, Bria probably had her trigger finger ready to go there, and I faked her out, not by intent. Okay, somebody said, I think it was Lauren DeGiorgi said, this is a great reminder of the level of talent at Taxi. I got to tell you guys, nothing makes me happier than when I'm like a proud dad of you guys. And there's a company that I've been developing a close relationship with the CEO of for years, 3-4 years now. We've had meetings, we've had a lunch or a dinner or two together. He specializes in advertising music, and he's not from Los Angeles, and I don't think you guys, people are going, I wonder who that is. I'm going to try and guess. Don't even bother. Anyway, we ran some listings for his company. Recently, I cornered him and said, come on, dude, it's about damn time. Run some listings with Taxi. We have a lot of talent that you're not hearing. And so we ran several listings, a bunch of listings, and I don't think he's even gotten all the music from the different listings, but I got an email from him that was sent on a Sunday night, last night at 7:30 his time, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he said, like, wow, what do I do now to reach out to some of these folks that I want to sign? And he flat out said we were surprised by what we got. So he's about as picky, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but he's really picky. His bar is really high. I know him pretty well at this point, and I know where his bar is. And they work on a ton of top-of-the-line TV commercials, and he was just shocked, I think, by the quality. When you get an email from somebody on Sunday night at 7:30, it tells you two things. This is a person who is successful because they work hard, working Sunday night at 7:30, a Sunday night at 7:30, and number two, he could have just had his head of A&R reach out to me and say, run more listings. But nope, 7:30 is Sunday night from the CEO of a company that matters. So that's because of you guys. So great job. Okay, this next one, here's a great example, I believe, of a title telling you exactly what you're going to hear. So if you're an editor or a music supervisor and you're scanning a long list, and trust me, they do scan long lists of music, this one's called Here Comes the Enemy. Let's see if it sounds like that. Oh gee, it already does. This is also by Thomas Pett. Excellent piece. Really, really great job, Thomas. That's Thomas Pett. All right, now we're moving on to a composer that I did give some special attention to at the Road Rally, and it's because several nights before the Road Rally, I was listening to this stuff. It was late at night, I think, sitting here all alone, break out the violins, doing what I do before every Road Rally, which is making sure all the little details are taken care of. And I was listening to this music because I wanted to know what got forwarded and what might be played at the rally if we needed fill-in stuff. And I heard this piece, and it's from a gentleman named Martin Tichy. And I'm not going to say anything else for the moment. Let's just play. This one's called Dances with Elves. So I listened to that and I went, okay, this dude knows what he's doing. And I was very impressed. And then I saw another piece. Oh, same guy. So let's have a listen. This one's called Here. So then I went, wow, this guy is awesome. I love his work. And then I played this next one, which is called Pirates and Musketeers. But you'll see, I mean, he did this. No, I'm not going to say anything. Just let's have a listen. You'll figure it out. I have faith in you. So remember, it's fairly late at night. I've been working already, I don't know, probably 12, 14 hours. But did I jump up and maybe play air baton to that one? You bet your butt I did. I was just blown away. Like, that is really, really, really good. So then I hit the play button on this next one called Across the Valleys. This is also by Martin Tichy. I crank this up a little. Anyway, so I was so blown away that I called him up. And Martin is from Vienna, Austria, and he's got an accent. I said something to the effect of, "Do you know how good you are?" And he goes, "Well, I was hoping I was good. This phone call kind of confirms it, I guess." I'm very, very, very humble. I can't read that because it's blue on blue.
He's in the chat.
Oh, Martin's in the chat. Okay. There's Martin. Anyway, I was just blown away. I've heard a lot of music in 25 years of running this company, and there are times that I'm just so unbelievably impressed that I give people a call and say, "Do you know how good you are?" And Martin very sweetly and very humbly said, "Well, I was hoping I was good, but I didn't know." Anyway, you're good, Martin. You're really, 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 really good. And yes, one of the secrets to his stuff sounding so good, I later found out in my third phone call to him, I believe, is that he does play, that is largely, if not entirely, Vienna String Library, but he does play his own fiddle on top of that. So all the solo stuff was him playing. And the female vocals on, I believe it was the second piece, I don't know, one of the pieces that had a really great sounding female vocal is indeed his wife. So, and the best part is they live less than 5 minutes away from me. So are we having breakfast this coming Saturday? Yes, we are. And I'm looking forward to that a great deal. Anyway, that was exciting. I love hearing amazing music. All of this, by the way, has been really, really, really strong. For those of you who were saying, did you have any women in this bunch? Yes. Now, obviously, we don't sit there and go, let's pick all guys and let's leave the women out. It's just luck of, not even luck of the draw. It's what got forwarded because the screeners heard it and said, this should be played in the ballroom if we hit a low spot. So this next piece is called Homestead on the Horizon. by Jennifer Lang, and I'm ducking off camera for a minute. I started the show out today with really bad acid indigestion and could not find my Costco giant bottle of Tums anywhere. So I'm sneaking a few bites of a granola bar that tastes like a bale of hay to calm the acid indigestion down. So I'm only about 4 feet away, so I am listening. This is Jennifer Lang, Homestead on the Horizon. I'll be right back. Anyway, sorry, I've got a mouthful of bale of hay. Want to hear why I'm not eating this? Well, first, let me once again say thank you. That was Jennifer Lang, Homestead on the Horizon. Clearly, the title tells you exactly what you're going to hear, pretty darn close. And you heard it. You could see the scene, right? Here's why I don't eat these on camera, other than it's rude. I was like a horse having lunch. I shouldn't have even had that bite. That's what we love about Taxi TV, is the host has no class whatsoever. I'm working on it. Okay, the next one we cannot play is called Little Lady Redo by Chrissy Gardner, but it wasn't marked public on the website, and we couldn't reach Chrissy in time. Unless you happen to be watching the show, Chrissy, and say, yes, you have my permission to play it, we will go back and play it. But there was another lady in there. Okay, so this next one, this should be number 23 on the list, and this one, oh yeah, you don't have numbers. Anyway, it's called Problem Solver by Andrew Rogers. Great ending. That was Problem Solver by Andrew Rogers. I think we have more from Andrew. We do. He had a bunch of forwards. He had 5 forwards. So we are moving into Andrew Rogers land here. And I have a feeling we'll be impressed with his other stuff as well. So this one's called Party Time. That's as close as you'll ever get to see me dance. Great edit point. Another edit point. You can start it here. Sound effects and visual effects. Get the 2-for-1 special on that. So that was Andrew Rogers' Party Time. Did what it said it was going to do, right? If you were an editor of Music Soup, you knew exactly what you were going to get. I mean, within reason. And had a bunch of great edit points. And it was a perfectly, wonderfully usable cue. Andrew clearly knows what he's doing. Somebody asked if we're carrying these over. I'm going to be able to finish this list today. This is just instrumentals, and next week we're doing, on Taxi TV, we're doing forwards and returns where you guys get to play A&R people on an indie folk listing that we ran recently. And then the following week, give you guys a little heads up on what's on the schedule. Look, I've actually prepared in advance. Next November 27th, which is after Thanksgiving, so we'll all be bloated and fat. We're going to do the song version of this. So we're going to play some songs that were forwarded for the song, for the rally. There we go. I spit that out. And then I'm trying, I haven't asked her yet, but on December 4th, I'm going to have Robin come back because she hit it so out of the park at the rally. It was amazing. By the way, we actually sold out of this book at the rally this year. Of course, they don't all say sample on the top. This is the special edition when you pay extra to get the word sample on there. But Robin was just astonishingly good. Not that she is never not astonishingly good. My English teacher, like 7th grade English teacher, would have a fit about that sentence. Monday, December 11th, I have hit songwriter Shelley Piken slotted. Monday, December 18th, I have a blank spot. But there's somebody that reached out to me today, somebody who's quite expert on touring is an indie artist, and I'm going to try and get that person in. Christmas Day on December 25th, I think we'll take the day off. Anyway, there's a little rundown of what's in our future. Now, back to business. So this next one is called So Be It, or So Beat, B-E-A-T, if you pronounce it correctly. Here we go. Also Andrew Rogers. that was called So Beat by Andrew Rogers, and we've got a couple more by him. The next one is called Happy Go Lucky. This guy names his stuff so well. Listings, and we mentioned non-lyrical vocalizations. That's what those were. That was called Happy Go Lucky by Andrew Rogers, and it was Happy Go Lucky, right? I mean, the title told you what to expect, and you got it. This one is called Surf Punk by Andrew Rogers. That was Surf Punk by Andrew Rogers. So many applications he could use that for. we've got one more to go. I'll play it in a minute, but I see some discussion going on in the chat room. People are talking about, wow, this is humbling. The bar is so high. We need taller bar stools, which I thought was pretty funny. You know what? If anybody's watching this after the fact, not watching it live, but watching the archive later, I hope this isn't discouraging. If anything, it should be encouraging, because every one of these people that you're hearing today, every single one of them, I can tell you with absolute certainty, did not pop out of their mommy's tummy being this good. None of them. Everybody starts pretty much the same. I've been in the industry for 43 years. I've only met 2 or 3 people that I would say are truly gifted, that, you know, like by an act of God or the universe or something, they were blessed with amazing talent, but they still had to develop their craft. And all these people that you're hearing today that are so incredibly good, they just worked at their craft. They didn't sit at home watching TV, grousing about other people who were better than them, and giving up. They just kept at it. And a great example, tonight we all heard that incredibly good music from Martin Tichy, and I called him when I called him, and I said, you know, not only is your stuff beautifully written and incredibly well orchestrated, but the thing that I'm really impressed with is that you understand what a cue's job is. That a cue is supposed to be singular. It's supposed to be one motif, one emotion. It's supposed to be the same thing top to bottom. It's not supposed to score the entire film. Where did you learn that stuff? In his typically humble way, and I'm going to be a little, it's the word I'm looking for, inhumble? I just invented a word. I said, where did you learn that? And he goes, Taxi TV, of course. I went, there you go. So for anybody that's watching this stuff, please don't be discouraged by how good this stuff is. Be inspired by it. And just know that it's absolutely achievable. But it's achievable if you just work at it. The last guy off the field wins the game. So if you just stick your tail between your legs and go home, you're a loser. For lack of a better way to say that in a nice way. Let's have a listen now to the last piece on this list, which is called Bubblegum by Brian Williams. And I'm pretty sure it ain't the Brian Williams that's a newscaster. Let's have a listen.
DJ Code Red.
All right, that was Bubblegum by Brian Williams. Again, not the newscaster Brian Williams, but the musician Brian Williams, although the newscaster could be a musician. I'm going to give you guys a little pop quiz on that one. What about that one? Even though it was an incredibly good piece of music and absolutely done like a cue, there was something in that piece of music that would prevent a music supervisor from using it, and I want to see if anybody got that. I'm just going to hang out here and wait because I know there's a little delay. Maybe I should go eat another bale of hay. I don't want them to hear. Remember, again, it was a really good piece of music, but there was something in there. Linda Cullum says, the high noise bell kind of like sound. Nope. I once used an SSL console that had the noise bell kind of like sound button on it. The changed field, no. Samples, no. Too much melody, too many changes, no. Because there was pretty much a motif and there were edit points, so you could get past that. I'm going to give you like another 15 seconds. I'm hoping somebody gets this. Didn't have the brakes. No, it did. I thought it had some stop points. Linda Cullum says, no stop points. Not enough cowbell. Peter Rahal gets it right. No, not the cowbell issue. The title. Sherry says the title, Bubblegum. It wasn't all that apropos, but it wasn't a title. All right. I'm going to have Bria play it again. Listen to the first, 15 seconds maybe. See if you get it. All right, she's got to get back to it.
Okay.
DJ Code Red.
Come on, you guys. Haven't I taught you more than this? Thank goodness. Matt Music Vids gets it right. Stan M gets it right. The vocalization at the start wasn't a vocalization, it was actual words. DJ Code Red, the beginning. And there he is from DJ Code Red himself. When I heard that, it was the last thing I heard that night when I was sitting here listening to all the stuff that we were going to possibly play at the Road Rally. And I went, oh, dude. But the rest of it's really excellent. So, yeah, I would mix that out personally because a lot of supervisors or a lot of editors would just go, next, move on, right past it. So even though I know that's typical in that genre, it makes it unusable if somebody wants to use the beginning of that as a cue in a scene because who's DJ Code Red? It's not that you're necessarily unknown, it's just it may not be apropos for the piece that it would be with. So there you go. Once again, thank you to everybody who submitted, and believe me, there was a lot of other stuff that was also really, really good. I think we probably, I'm just guessing, but I want to say we got 250, 300 submissions for this thing. And I know that the people that screened it, again, we weren't screening it for a particular listing. We were screening it just like if we have an emergency where we have to break the glass and play something, and we would have said to you, here's some examples of stuff that would make it through our screeners just so that the people on the panels would know the quality. This is just incredibly good. And I'm so incredibly proud. So many of our members are getting it and getting that email from the gentleman who owns the company. It does a lot of, big name commercials, music for big name commercials. To get an email from him on 7:30 on a Sunday night tells me that he was really impressed, and his email said he was really impressed. So congratulations to our members for paying attention and getting it so right. Congratulations and thank you to all the people we played today. We will see you next week where we will be putting you guys in the A&R seat and having you vote +1 or -1 on forwards and returns for recent indie folk listing. And there was something about that I can't remember, but like I can't remember if it's I didn't agree with the screeners or maybe I was completely or utterly wrong. I don't know, but there was some interesting twist on it that I wanted to use it for a Taxi TV. So, and Peter Rahill says, good job, screeners. Yes, absolutely. For everybody who complains I didn't get forwarded, gee, nobody was saying today, boy, those screeners really don't know what they're doing, because they do. With that, I bid you guys adieu. Thank you to Bria for prepping this stuff today, and we will see you next week, 4 o'clock on Monday, for another exciting episode of Taxi TV Live. Bye, you guys. Oh, yeah. I gotta turn it off, don't I?